My name is Philip Hanses and I'm a head coach for Try Training Harder, and I'm going to be talking to you today about running tips. Today in particular we're going to be looking at pacing. So when we look at pacing, a lot of people can get quite confused. You've got things like zones, you've got RPE values, that might be a Borg scale of 6 up to 20, it might be a simple marks out of 10, how hard is this? Then you've got your heart rate scales, lots of different zones, percentages of lactate threshold, percentage of max heart rate. You then start looking at more complicated things like running power and all the zones which are associated with that. But I want to try and simplify that as much as I possibly can do. Let's make it 3 very straightforward and very easy zones. As a coach, the hardest thing to try and get into new athletes' mindset is the idea that actually easy is meant to be easy, hard is meant to be hard, and anything in the middle, thresholdy, moderate, is quite a difficult one to define, but it's somewhere between the two. What I commonly find is that an athlete, they go out on an easy run, they're like, yep, fine, no worries. In terms of pace, maybe the end part of the run was about the pace that you wanted them to go at. But because they head out and they felt everything was really easy, the pace which they headed out at the beginning was actually quite hard, which meant the whole run became quite hard because the second half was harder. So easy is easy. When you go hard, again you see athletes, they go, oh, I'm going hard, but it's not really hard. They could go a lot harder. So think about easy as, yeah, you could do it all day. Hard as being something for whatever distance you're doing or duration you're doing. Let's just say it's to that person over there, to the end of the rugby field, whatever it is, maximum effort. That's hard. That's really, really hard. If it's a 10k, it's the same thing, but for obviously longer. So you've got hard at that level, and you've got that middle ground there, which is moderate, which is, yeah, I'm feeling and working, but I can sustain this. And most of the time, people kind of go into the between all 3 of those. So they're kind of going easy, but they're not really easy. They're going hard, but they're not really hard. So they're not in that moderate zone, which is quite an efficient threshold zone. They're not in that really max effort for that distance zone either, and they're not going easy. So they're not really training any things. They're kind of sort of in that middle bit just here. So what I want you to try and do now is when you go out for your run, try and be aware of how easy is easy. Okay, I'm going out. Can I make the way out, or an out and back run, let's just say, can I make it easier now than in the second half? Because if you can, then you've got a really good pace awareness. Now, pace awareness is really, really important when it starts coming to running. A lot of people give up running quite quickly because they head out on a run, they do a mile, they say it's the hardest thing they've ever done, and they didn't stop there because they don't know anything else from when they were a kid. They just go flat out running, and they end up running really hard all the time, and that's great, but that ends up being kind of their main way of thinking about running. Everywhere's fast, everywhere's hard. So I want you to try and think about running easy. So try and do a short run, it can be 20 minutes or so, go out for 10 minutes, and can you come back in 9, just over 9, might for the extra minute. Or go out for 11 minutes and come back in 9, and then you make sure it's a 20-minute run. But make sure that that second way back, there's a perceived change in effort, and there's a perceived change in pace. Are you able to fine-tune that in? Then sure, if you've got anything else, data, and I've got to watch on here, data where you can start looking into and seeing your pacing, seeing your speed, seeing your heart rate, fantastic. Have a look at that afterwards and see how it goes. But it's really about how you can apply yourself and bring that in. And when it says go hard, go a hill rep, go really hard up a hill, make sure you're going hard up the hill as well. Those abilities to change pace and be aware of the change in pace and not let the pace change your attitude or change your feelings. So make sure you own the pace, not the pace owning you, will make a big, big difference to your enjoyment if you're running, but also make a big difference to how well and how effectively you can start training. So pacing is really important, especially when it comes into racing. If you're going to do your first race and you are aware of your own pace, you know what you can sustain, you'll find it a lot more enjoyable to go out there and know that you can come in the second half quicker than the first half, and you've got that under control because you are in control. Remember, you own the pace, don't let the pace own you.